In a small courtroom in rural Alabama, two officers couldn't contain their snickers as they escorted a black man in handcuffs to the stand, assuming he was just another defendant facing minor charges. They mocked his composed demeanor, whispering jokes about his fate. But as the judge called for identification, the room fell silent when the man revealed his badge, not that of a criminal, but of the director of the FBI. What followed exposed a deep-seated bias in the system and turned a routine arrest into a national scandal that reshaped law enforcement accountability. Dr. Elias Thompson had risen through the ranks of federal law enforcement with a determination forged in adversity. Born in 1965 in Birmingham, Alabama, during the height of the civil rights movement, Elias witnessed firsthand injustices that plagued his community. His father, a factory worker, and his mother, a schoolteacher, instilled in him the value of education and perseverance. Elias excelled in school, earning a scholarship to Howard University, where he majored in criminal justice. After graduation, he joined the FBI as a special agent in 1988, starting in the Atlanta field office. His sharp intellect and unwavering integrity propelled him forward. By 2005, he was leading counterterrorism efforts, and in 2017, he was appointed as the first black director of the FBI by President Trump, a move that surprised many but was backed by his impeccable record. Elias's tenure as director was marked by reforms aimed at addressing systemic biases within law enforcement. He implemented training programs on implicit bias, pushed for greater diversity in hiring, and oversaw investigations into police misconduct across the country. But Elias knew that change required more than policies. It needed personal commitment. That's why, in 2022, he decided to conduct an undercover operation in his home state of Alabama, posing as an ordinary citizen to experience and document racial profiling firsthand. The plan was kept secret, known only to a handful of top aides and the Attorney General. Elias believed that by immersing himself in the system, he could gather irrefutable evidence to support further reforms. On a humid August morning in 2022, Elias drove into the town of Milford, Alabama, in a rented mid-range sedan. He wore casual clothes, a button-down shirt, jeans, and sneakers, to blend in. His objective was simple: observe interactions with local law enforcement while appearing as an average black man. He stopped at a gas station to fill up and buy a coffee. As he exited the store, two local police officers, Sergeant Robert Klein and Officer Jenna Harlan, pulled up in their patrol car. They had been monitoring the area for suspicious activity, a term often used loosely in Milford. Klein approached Elias first, his hand resting on his holster. Harlan flanked him, her expression stern. They asked Elias for his ID, claiming a report of a similar vehicle involved in a theft nearby. Elias complied calmly, handing over a fake driver's license prepared for the operation. The officers ran the ID, which came back clean, but they weren't satisfied. They questioned him about his business in town, his job, and his destination. Elias answered politely, stating he was visiting family. But the officers pressed on, searching his car without consent, citing probable cause based on nothing more than his appearance. When Elias politely objected, citing his rights, Klein laughed. Harlan joined in, mocking his attitude. They handcuffed him, claiming resistance, and took him to the station for further questioning. At the station, the laughter continued. Other officers joined in, making jokes about Elias's composure, assuming he was trying to act tough. They booked him on trumped-up charges of disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, then transferred him to the county courthouse for arraignment. The courtroom was small, with peeling paint and a few spectators, mostly locals there from minor cases. The judge, Harold Benson, a veteran of the bench known for his no-nonsense approach, called Elias's case. Klein and Harlan escorted him in, still chuckling under their breath. They positioned him at the defendant's table, whispering taunts. Elias remained silent, his face impassive. The prosecutor, a young assistant DA named Lisa Grant, read the charges. Elias, representing himself as part of the operation, pleaded not guilty. Judge Benson asked for identification to confirm the defendant's details. Elias reached into his pocket, carefully, to avoid alarming the officers, and pulled out his real FBI badge and ID. The room went quiet as he stated, "Your Honor, I am Elias Thompson, Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation." Klein and Harlan's laughter died instantly. Their faces turned ashen. Grant dropped her notes. Benson leaned forward, examining the credentials closely. After verifying them through a quick call to Washington, the judge dismissed the charges immediately. What followed was a whirlwind. Elias revealed the purpose of his undercover operation: to expose the racial biases that led to his arrest. The incident was recorded via a hidden body camera Elias wore, capturing every mocking word and unjust action. The footage was released to the media, sparking national outrage. News outlets covered the story extensively, highlighting how even a head of the FBI could be subjected to racial profiling. Protests erupted in Milford and beyond, demanding accountability. An internal investigation was launched by the Department of Justice. Klein and Harlan were suspended without pay and eventually fired after the evidence proved their misconduct. The Milford Police Department underwent a federal review, leading to mandatory bias training, body camera implementation, and community oversight boards. Elias used the incident to advocate for nationwide reforms, testifying before Congress on the need for federal standards in policing. The story didn't end with punishment. Elias met with the officers involved, not out of vengeance, but to educate. He shared his experiences, emphasizing that change starts with understanding. Klein, in a later interview, admitted his wrongdoing and committed to anti-bias work in his community. Harlan pursued further education in criminal justice reform. Elias's actions inspired other leaders to examine their own biases, leading to a broader dialogue on race and law enforcement. In the years following, Elias continued his work as FBI director until his retirement in 2024. His legacy includes not just the reforms he implemented, but the personal risk he took to shine a light on injustice. The Milford incident became a case study in police academies, a reminder that no one is above the law or beneath its fair application. Elias Thompson proved that true leadership involves not just directing from afar, but stepping into the shoes of those you serve.